Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, and do consider supporting the channel via PayPal or Patreon. You'll find the links in the video description. The Hammersmith Chess Congress took place at the beginning of June, and it was a resounding success. 134 players participated. The venue was absolutely rammed. I mean, there was no room for any more competitors. They actually had to turn people away, and that was fantastic to see. And I have to say, the venue was superb. It was at the London Mind Sports Centre. That's where Hammersmith Chess Club meet on Monday evenings. Do go along if you fancy a game of chess and some friendly company. It's a really nice club. I was tasked with selecting a best game prize, which I was really happy to do. Actually, I think it's a really nice thing to have in a tournament. What am I looking for in a best game? Well, not necessarily a game with all the best moves. Actually, I'm looking for a game with bold strategy, some nice tactics, and a certain sparkle as well. And I think this game fits the bill very well. So it was played in the final round of the major tournament. There were actually 3 tournaments taking place. The major tournament is for players rated under 2,000. And as I said, played in the final round where basically the players had to go for a win if they wanted to be in contention for first prize. So it's played between Andrew Hayler playing white and Oliver Petrick playing black. So here we go. And fittingly, for this weekend tournament, it's the Grand Prix attack that white plays. Case of, go hard or go home. So why is it called the Grand Prix attack? Well, in the 1970s, there was this English weekend tournament circuit, or I should say UK weekend tournament circuit. And there was a Grand Prix, there was a prize at the end of the year for the best total of all the tournaments you played in the weekend tournament circuit. And I mean, these weekend tournaments were really tough. You played 5 or sometimes even 6 games in a weekend, but also games with a sensible time control, not just rapid play games. So it could be a game Friday evening, 3 games on the Saturday, 2 games on the Sunday. Sensible chess, proper time control. So that's really tough. And there were certain players that specialised in these weekend tournament circuits, weekend tournaments, where you had to have a repertoire that you could try and knock out players pretty quickly. And that's how this opening was developed and honed on the circuit. And there were 2 players I think of in particular who developed the opening. That's David Rumans and Mark Hebden. And after that, I mean, well, basically, we all played the Grand Prix attack in England, from the top down. Anyway, let's continue, and we can see the strategy involved. So here white has 2 moves. There's bishop b5 or there's bishop c4. Bishop c4 is, you could say, the most aggressive, looking down this diagonal. a6, should probably play e6 there actually. A4 stops b5, and now e6. And here f5. Well, this is classic Grand Prix attack strategy, and already you're asking difficult questions of your opponent. So should black take this pawn? And if black does take, do you take with the g pawn or the e pawn, or do you ignore this altogether? Well, here black ducked the question and just played knight d4. And white ignored that knight and just castled. And here white decided, okay, better do something about that pawn, and played e takes f5. And this is really what white wants. d3. I think often this calm response comes as a surprise to a lot of players of the black pieces here. The point of d3 is just to hold that pawn on e4, so that if this is taken, then white recaptures and it just keeps control over the d5 square. I mean, this particular position, there's probably some nasty tactics involved with bishop takes f7 check as well, or indeed knight takes and bishop takes f7. But yeah, if we go back to this position, then you know that will be the, obviously there's no tactics on bishop on f7 here, but that's usually the response. You know, you just want to hold the position. So e takes d3. It's about claiming control over that d5 square. So this is the game, knight e7. And here white plays in a very straightforward way, very simple, knight d5. So this is about eliminating some of these defensive pieces and getting really nice control over d5, and that bishop looks fantastic. And black is already under massive pressure here. White is developing beautifully. Black has yet to develop on the queen side, and the king is still in the middle of the board. d6 played. e takes f5. And here I would say relatively best is for black to castle, but even so I think white has just a really nice position. Pressure on this diagonal, pressure here. This bishop is going to come up very soon as well. But black decided to play bishop takes f5. This is very risky with the king still in the middle. Now there's more than one way to pursue the attack here. One could simply check on the e-file with the queen, but white decided to just ditch the exchange, and I have to admire the boldness of this strategy. It leaves white with this fantastic light squared bishop, and this, you know, white's strategy has been very consistent in this game, and this carries through right to the end of the game. This bishop is a fantastic piece and really proves its worth. Queen h5. So threatening mate on f7, and here black should take the opportunity to castle, but I'm guessing that this must have seemed like a very scary prospect. You know, white is on the attack. You know, if this rook can join in as well, it's extremely dangerous. But I mean, this is black's best chance. You know, the queen can actually come out here, and it's not so clear, but you know, I can understand why black was probably intimidated by that. Queen f6 was played to defend, well, both pawns actually. But now white takes the opportunity to displace black's king. Check. And obviously with the king here bottling in the rook, that's not easy for black. And now a little bit of sparkle. Bishop g5, queen g6. Black offers a trade of queens, and here we go. The queen is offered, and of course mate in 1 is threatened, so the queen can't be taken. So black is under massive pressure here. Relatively best is to play f6, which will force a queen exchange, but white still has tremendous compensation here. This pawn is going to be taken. White has 2 bishops, and then, you know, one can follow up with b4, b5 as well. But after rook e1, black played bishop e5, blocking the e-file, but watch what happens now. Bishop h6 check. And black's king is on the run. Well, relatively best is king e7, but white still has a fantastic attack here. For example, well, with the king running around in the middle, it doesn't look promising. c4 is a nice move, with the idea of bishop d5 check, securing that a beautiful spot for the bishop, and then b4, for example. One could also play bishop f4 and then exchange here and take on d4. Once again, I think white has tremendous compensation for the exchange and has a very promising attack there. But king e7 is the best way for black to play, but king g8 was played. And now watch how white finishes. In fact, well, over to you. How should white play in this position? There's one good move here. I'll have a little slurp of tea. Cheers. You have a little think. White play. What would you do? Cheers. Well, here white plays a deadly step backwards. Queen h4. I can imagine this is a very easy move to overlook. It's very nice. Queen d8, mate threatened. And black has no good defense here. f6 was played to block the check. And now bishop d5 check. The bishop returns to this crucial diagonal. The rook blocks, and you can see that black can barely move. And now this is a very nice moment. b4. Very nice strategy. White simply wants to push that pawn all the way down, and there will be checkmate. And there is no defense here. Black played queen g4. Well, there's more than one way to win this. Queen f6 wins very quickly, actually. But do you know what? I kind of like the way that white did this. White exchanged and pushed the pawn. And there's, you can see, because of this pin here and the bishop slicing across there's absolutely nothing that black can do. The game ended like this. f5. And now b6, of course, is winning, but rook a1 threatens rook a8. And now, well, black gave up that bishop and gave a spike check, and that was the end of the game. There's nothing to stop rook a8. Actually, black is only one move away from stalemate here, but there's still one move, one pawn move available, and that will be mate. Great stuff. What an advert for the power of the Grand Prix attack, and so fitting in this last round of this weekend tournament, the Hammersmith Chess Congress. So congratulations to Andrew Hayler on, well, not only winning the major tournament, but winning the best game prize as well.